Today's lesson is on measures of central tendency. So first, some definitions. Numbers that represent an average of data points are known as measures of central tendency. Four such measures are the mean, the median, the mode, and the mid-range. And that's what we're going to be discussing today. First, we're going to talk about the mean. The mean is the sum of all data points divided by the total number of items in the data set. The mean of the sample is written an X with a line on top of it and pronounced X bar. This is the type of average you would get if you're trying to find out like your average of your 3 test scores. You'd add them all up and divide by 3 to find out what the average is. This is what most students think of when they think of an average, is the mean. So for example, the scores on a pop quiz were 8, 10, 9, 9, 6, 8, 7, and 9. So the mean is going to be, well, how many quizzes do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total quizzes. So when I'm trying to find the mean, I'm going to take 8 plus 10 plus 9 plus 9 plus 6 plus 8 plus 7 plus 9, add all those up and divide it by 8. So I get out my calculator. 8 plus 10 plus 9 plus 9 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9. Now because I didn't put parentheses around the numerator, I'm just going to hit enter and get the numerator by itself, 66, then go back and take 66 and divide it by 8. And that's going to get me 8.25. So that means the mean is 8.25. So the average of these quiz scores is 8.25. I'm hoping it's out of 10. Next, we're going to be talking about the median. The median is the middlemost number of the data set. The steps to find the median are: first, order the data from least to greatest. If the number of the data items is odd, then the median is simply the middlemost data of the list, because if there's an odd number, then there's an exact middle. But if there's an even number of data points, then you have basically 2 middlemost data items. So in this case, you're going to take the mean of the middlemost data items, add them up, divide by 2. But you have to find you first have to find the middle 2 most numbers. Now, if the list is really, really long, trying to find the middle number is kind of hard. You can use the formula n plus 1 divided by 2 to try to find the middlemost number. So let's say we have the same values that we had before for the pop quiz. So the step 1 would be to order them. So the least number is 6. Then the next one after that is 7. Then 2 8s. Then 3 9s. And a 10. And that's still 8 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, still 8 values. So I have them all. Notice that there are 8 data items, which is even. Okay. So if I'm trying to find the middlemost number, I could just cross off the first one and cross off the last one, and then cross off the next one and keep going all the way until I get to the middle values. Now, there's 2 middle values here, so I'm going to take 8 plus 9 and divide them by 2. Because it's even, the middlemost number, I have to add them up, divide by 2. So 17 divided by 2 is going to be 8.5. So the median for these 8 scores is 8.5. Okay. Now another way I could have found 8 and 9, if I use the formula n, which is 8 plus 1 divided by 2, that would be 9 divided by 2, so that's 4.5. So the 4th and 5th data point are going to be the median once you take the mean of that. Now let's suppose that maybe a student was absent and they completed the quiz the next day. So now I don't have 8 data points anymore, I have 9. So let's reorder these. 6, I have a 7, 1, 2, 3 8s, 3 9s, and a 10. And I should have 9 here. So this is the first, second, third, fourth, all the way up to 9. Okay, so now that there are 9 data values, which is odd, the median is just going to be the middlemost. So if I cross out the first one and the last one, and then keep doing that, first one and last one, first one and last one, until I get down to the middlemost, it's going to be the 5th data item, which means the median is 8. Another way to find that, as I could have just found the number by adding the n plus 1 divided by 2, so that's 10 divided by 2. This tells me that the 5th data item would be the median. So if I had them listed, I could just go to the 5th one and that would also get me the median. Next, we're going to be talking about mode. Now the mode is the data value that occurs most often in a data set. If more than one data value has a highest frequency, then each of these values is a mode. So you could have 2 modes or 3 modes if they all have the same frequency. We call that bimodal or trimodal. Now if there is no data value that occurs most often, then the set has no mode. Okay? And that happens sometimes too. Most often there's usually only one, but sometimes you have more than one and sometimes you have none. For example, let's have these scores again. We have 6, 7, 2 8s, 3 9s, and a 10. Which one occurs most? Well, 9 occurs 3 times, so the mode is 9. Now I went ahead and changed up some of these numbers. So we have 5 and 6 and 7, 2 8s, 2 9s, and a 10. In this case, 8 appears twice, but also 9 appears twice. Because 8 and 9 both appeared the same number of times and they're the highest, there's going to be 2 modes. So the mode is both 8 and 9. We call this bimodal. Because there's 2 modes. And then one more example. We have different numbers. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Which one appears most frequently? Well, none of them appear most frequently. So in this case, there are no modes. Okay? Or there is no mode. And that's okay. So we could have one mode, you could have more than one mode, or you could have no modes.